Hybrid cloud environments are a common architecture for modern networks that span both on-premises and public cloud resources. In this demo, we'll take a look at how Kentik provides network observability for application traffic traversing traditional on-premises networks like campus or data center out to your public cloud environment. For this demo, we're starting with a Kentik map. And here we can see many active on-prem sites and cloud environments represented on the same graphic. And if we drill down into this site grouping in northern New Jersey, for example, we could see the individual sites, the individual devices and links, all of which you can expand to look at things like metrics, traffic information, and so on. For now, let's zoom out though and focus on AWS. If we show connections, we can see the overall connectivity between AWS and all of our on-prem sites. Now, this is an overview of traffic to all our on-prem sites, and we can filter for things like application, country, region, site. You can see that the list is pretty extensive. Now, from the public clouds, we're collecting information like AWS VPC flow logs and cloud metrics, from Azure NSG flow logs and cloud metrics, and similar from Oracle and Google. From on-prem networks like campus and data center, we're collecting telemetry using SNMP, streaming telemetry. We're ingesting information from your IPAM and DNS. We're also grabbing custom info like site and application tags, and really any other metadata that might help provide business context for an organization by tying all of this information to the flow data that we're also collecting. From service providers, we're ingesting global routing tables, we're monitoring BGP, and we're using technologies like Paris Traceroute to map loss latency and jitter hop by hop along the path on the public internet. Another way to see your hybrid traffic is with our topology graphic. Now, I'm using this site, which is a data center in Dallas, Texas, it looks like. And when I show its connections, we see that it has connectivity to the internet up and to the right, and you can drill into that by clicking the link, and also to two different public clouds, which we can see by this arrow going to the left. And it looks like our Dallas data center has connections to both AWS and Azure. Now, we could click on Azure and select Show Connections to see what our Azure instance is talking to. And when I do that, it looks like it's just our Dallas data center. And to look at the traffic between Azure and Dallas, we would just click on the link, and that opens the details pane on the right. Now, that's a quick overview of traffic volume, but we can get much more granular by filtering for any of these options here. So if I choose application, we get a breakdown of the application traffic on that connection for the last hour. Now notice that from here I can also pivot to Data Explorer, where we can filter this specific telemetry further and get as granular as we need to. Data Explorer allows us to filter for many different options. You can change the time range, change the visualization, run a comparison, add very complex filtering statements, and so on. Back to our map, let's look at AWS. I'll select View Topology to see how our AWS traffic is talking to our on-prem resources, and this is going to allow us to look at cloud networking components. So here on this first on-prem router, we could see how it sends AWS-bound traffic to this direct connect, then onto this direct connect gateway, and then scrolling down to this transit gateway to go to our AWS US West 1 region. Now we could drill into the traffic within that region as well, but for this demo, let's go back to the top so you can see that many of these resources are actually clickable, meaning that you can click on any device or almost any device or link and then drill down even more. And that way you could see if there are any back-end connection errors. So here's information about that on-prem router. Here's the info about that direct connect. And I'll scroll down and you could see all that information about the transit gateway. So things like traffic information, device and interface metrics, BGP session status, the route table, all our attachments. And this way we can see if there are issues like a NAT gateway allocation error or maybe a transit gateway with no route and packet drops. The last piece is the path on the internet between your on-prem site and your public cloud instance. Kentik has synthetic testing agents deployed around the world to monitor all the major public clouds, but you can also deploy synthetic tests within your own locations as well as in your own public cloud environments to run periodic network performance tests across the internet, which you can then alert on and see historically as well. So as you can see here, this test is running to check network connectivity and performance between our on-prem location and our AWS environment. And by looking at the path view, we can actually see hop by hop the entire path between our on-prem location and our AWS environment, including where there could be latency or maybe packet loss. Kentik's approach to hybrid cloud visibility is crucial for maintaining a high-performing and reliable network that spans on-prem, public cloud, and the public internet. To learn more, visit kentik.com/cloud or reach out to your local Kentik representative.